I never should have answered that phone call. But when you're standing in a circle of old classmates at a reunion and the bottle lands on you for the third time and everyone's eyes are gleaming like wolves around a campfire, you don't have many choices. I picked dare. Call the person pinned at the top of your messages. One of them said, barely containing her grin, and say, "Honey, I miss you." My stomach dropped. The person pinned at the top of my messages was my boss. Not because we were close. Because he was my livelihood. Every message from Kael Ashford needed to be seen immediately, or I risked missing a deadline and getting verbally eviscerated in front of the entire design department. I hesitated. "Are you two secretly together?" someone asked. "No." "Then call." So I did. I pressed the call button with trembling fingers, praying he wouldn't pick up. 3 seconds later, a deep, slightly rough voice came through the speaker. "What is it?" Under the weight of 20 expectant stares, I clenched my jaw and forced the words out. "Honey, I miss you." There was a pause. Then he answered, "I miss you too." The room exploded. People gasped, hands flew to mouths, eyes went wide with scandalized delight. I fumbled the phone and hung up. "It's not what you think. I'm not married. He's my boss." But no one believed me. "Office romance," one of them said smugly. "Gotta keep it quiet, we understand." I buried my face in my hands. "No, you don't understand at all." I told myself he was probably drunk when he answered like that. He'd forget it by tomorrow. We had the rest of the holiday break before we had to face each other. He'd move on. I'd move on. Everything would be fine. I was wrong. On the second morning of the new year, I woke to the sound of my father laughing from the living room. Then came my mother's gentle knock on my bedroom door. "Lyra, wake up." I was instantly on guard. My mother never spoke that softly unless she wanted something. "Your boyfriend is here." I catapulted out of bed. "What boyfriend?" "I don't have a boyfriend." She smiled, her eyes crinkling with delight. "Of course you do. Why have you been hiding such a handsome young man from us?" I peered over her shoulder into the living room. A man in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit was sitting on our threadbare sofa. Broad shoulders, straight spine, sharp jawline. He looked like he'd walked off a magazine cover. I yanked my mother into my room and shut the door. "Did he ask you for money?" She swatted my arm. "What nonsense. He came to pay New Year respects." I already gave him a red envelope. My soul left my body. "You gave him money." "How much?" "500. I stared at her. "You gave me 100. "You're my child," she said with perfect logic. "He's a guest." I dragged my hands down my face. "Mom, I need you to understand something. That man out there is my boss. Kael Ashford. The CEO of Ashford Design Group. The man who signs my paychecks. We are not dating." She blinked. "Even if he's your ex, he came all this way. Maybe you two should reconsider." "I don't think you're hearing me." "And I don't think you're hearing yourself," she said cheerfully. "Go brush your hair. You look like a scarecrow." I looked down at my pajamas, my bare feet, my unbrushed hair. I was going to kill him. I stormed into the living room, ready to demand answers, but the moment Kael Ashford stood up and looked at me with those dark, calm eyes, my courage evaporated. "Lyra." He said my name like it was something precious. "Happy New Year." "Why are you here?" I didn't mean for our relationship to become public so suddenly. he said smoothly. But after your call the other night, my parents found out. Now they're asking when I'll bring you home. Everything clicked into place. Someone must have overheard the call. Now he was here to drag me down with him. Petty, vengeful, classic Kael Ashford. But did I flinch? Absolutely not. If he needed a human shield, I could be that shield. For a price. I sweetly linked my arm through his and felt him stiffen beside me. Mom, Dad, I said with the brightest smile I could manage. Let me officially introduce you. This is Kael Ashford, my boyfriend. I sat on the couch eating sunflower seeds, watching my parents grill him like he was at a job interview. Pure entertainment. Take that, you cold-hearted capitalist. At lunch, I launched my counterattack. I kept piling food onto his plate. Greasy pork belly, raw garlic, cloves, thick slices of ginger, heaps of coriander, and the fermented vegetables my mother kept in the back of the fridge. I know you love these, I said with an innocent smile. Eat up. Don't be polite. Under the table, Kael's hand found mine and squeezed in warning. Thank you, he said flatly. Threat received. I lowered my head and ate in peace. Then my mother asked the question I'd been dreading. So, how long have you two been together? Are you planning to marry soon? I looked at Kael, curious to see how he'd talk his way out of this one. He looked back at me with unbearable tenderness. We haven't been together long. But I already can't imagine my life without Lyra. Goosebumps erupted down my arms. And I'd like us to marry as soon as possible. He continued smoothly. The Civil Affairs office probably won't open for a few more days. We may have to wait. But as for the ceremony, our families can take time to plan it properly. We won't skip any formalities. I nearly choked on my chicken. My parents looked stunned. I wanted to kick him under the table. Actually, I did kick him. He didn't even flinch. My father cleared his throat. Isn't this moving a bit fast? When it's the right person, Kael said, his voice soft as velvet. Why wait? Then, ever so casually, he pulled a set of car keys from his pocket. Uncle, would you like to go on a road trip during the holidays? I have several vehicles sitting in my garage collecting dust. Take one anytime. It might make your commute easier. My father's eyes went round as coins. Kael turned to my mother. And Auntie, I know you worry about Lyra. I own a few apartments in the city center. Once we're married, we'll move into one. You and Uncle can choose another. That way, Lyra can visit you whenever she misses home. My mother's face lit up like a sunrise. She reached into the cabinet and slammed the family registry book onto the table. Enough with the auntie. You should call me Mum now. I sat there in disbelief. Actually, I began. Lyra Kael interrupted gently, taking my hand. From now on, Lyra will manage all my finances. That way, I won't even get the chance to mistreat her. He leaned in close and whispered against my ear. This is the bride price. 7 figures. If it's not enough, I can add more. The password is my birthday. A bank card was pressed into my palm. I went completely silent. The salary of a senior designer was good. But 7 figures was 7 figures. I gave in. On the 7th day of the new year, a day traditionally good for new beginnings, I stood beside Kael's car, clutching the family registry book, refusing to get in. Kael sat in the driver's seat, tapping the steering wheel, his gaze steady on me through the window. Getting cold feet? I mean, who wouldn't? Why me? I'm completely ordinary. We barely know each other. Even if you need someone to manage your family situation, there are better options. I took a cautious step back. To be honest, I'd spent the past few days wondering if he was planning to harvest my organs. Kael let out a low laugh. You're not ordinary. You're different from everyone else. My ears burned. How exactly am I different? The moment the words left my mouth, I regretted them. That sounded far too much like flirting. Kael smiled. Are you asking me to list your virtues? That's not what I meant. You're standing outside a closed-car door arguing with me? He said, Are you afraid of what might happen if you get too close? I yanked open the door and climbed in. There. I'm not afraid of you. Stop talking nonsense. Good, he said lightly. Then let's go to the civil affairs office. The car pulled onto the road. And that was when I realized, hadn't we been about to call the whole thing off? At the entrance to the civil affairs office, I stopped walking. Kael turned to face me. What's wrong? I looked at his impossibly handsome face and forced the words out. I don't think we're right for each other. Maybe you should find someone else. Kael stared at me, those deep, dark eyes boring into mine. Why not? We're not close. I can't live with someone I barely speak to. I can't imagine sharing a bed with a stranger. He took a step closer. Any other reason? I looked down. I don't want to trade my future for money. Life is too short. I think happiness matters more. And honestly, you don't need me specifically. Kael placed his hand gently on my shoulder. You're right, he said softly. Seizing joy in the moment really is important. Something about his tone set off alarm bells. I quickly brushed his hand away. You're standing too close. His expression darkened slightly. It's just warm in here, I added lamely. That's all. In winter. His eyebrow rose. I mentally slapped myself. It's fine, Kael said, stepping back. I'm not forcing you. I simply needed someone to put on a show for my parents. You happen to be available. You happen to fit? He rubbed his brow. I should have explained better. If we marry, you don't have to fulfill any marital obligations. If you fall in love with someone else later, you can file for divorce. In the meantime, I'll transfer my salary to you each month. I hesitated. So, after marriage, we can sleep in separate rooms. Separate rooms are fine. The marriage is only for appearances. And how much is your monthly salary? Around $40,000. But most of my income comes from dividends. You can also expense furniture, luxury items, and so on. The scales in my mind began tipping dangerously. If you're still uncertain, Kael continued calmly, I can have someone draft an agreement outlining all the terms. We'll sign a marriage contract. Can I think about it a bit longer? He glanced at his watch. I'll give you 3 minutes. I have a meeting this afternoon and no time to waste. What about a few days from now? His frown deepened. My time is extremely valuable. The holiday is nearly over and you still haven't decided. Were you just leading me along this whole time? I suddenly didn't dare say another word. His entire demeanor had shifted. Cold, intimidating, fast, and ruthless. This was the real Kael Ashford. Your 3 minutes are up, he said. Have you decided? I'll do it, I blurted. I'll marry you. I took a deep breath and walked through the doors of the civil affairs office. High risk, high reward, I told myself. It was just marriage. What was there to be afraid of? I stared at the brand new red marriage certificate in my hands. I had once sworn I would stay single forever, travel the world after retirement live, free and alone. And now, this. Before I could fully process anything, my certificate was plucked from my grip. I looked up just in time to see Kael Ashford tuck it into the inner pocket of his coat. Hey. That one's mine. We each get a copy. I earned this marriage fair and square, he said calmly. So both certificates belong to me. Is that a problem? I blinked. You can't do that. Give it back. Kael leaned against the car, arms crossed, one brow slightly raised. Come take it yourself. I stared at him. What exactly did he expect me to do? Wrestle it out of his coat in broad daylight. Better hurry, he added. Now or never. The smirk on his face was infuriating. Fine. If you don't want it, we'll head home. I nearly choked on my frustration. Why was he so smug? Why was he smiling so much now when he usually looked like he was attending a funeral? I stormed around to the passenger side and yanked the door open. Kael slid into the driver's seat. I turned toward the window, refusing to look at him. Little pufferfish, he murmured. I spun around. What did you call me? He was suddenly very close. You didn't fasten your seatbelt. He reached across me, pulled the belt over, and clicked it into place. I have hands, you know. My apologies, he said, his voice sincere. Next time I'll use words, not hands. Who are you calling a pufferfish? Right. We're both pufferfish. Anyway, I'm taking you to meet my parents. I stared at the elegant mansion outside the car window and then down at my casual outfit and empty hands. You should have told me earlier. Do I look even remotely prepared? Why wouldn't you be? You have the certificate. Don't tell me you're backing out already. He tried to take my hand. I swatted him away. I didn't prepare anything. Isn't it rude to show up like this? Kael's expression softened. Sorry. I should have told you ahead of time. But I already prepared everything. It's in the trunk. I'll have someone bring it in. He gently took my hand again. They already like you, Lyra. It doesn't matter what you're wearing. As we walked toward the door, something struck me. Wait. Didn't you say you had a meeting this afternoon? He raised an eyebrow. Taking my wife to meet her in-laws doesn't count as important. Everything he'd prepared had clearly been arranged in advance. He knew I would say yes. I'd walked straight into the capitalist's trap. I wanted to bolt. Why was he putting in so much effort? Did he genuinely like me? Or was he still calculating the resale value of my internal organs? Kael rested his hand on my shoulder. So, do you need me to carry you through that door? Or are you walking in on your own? I took a deep breath and knocked. Kael's parents were nothing like I'd expected. They were both well-dressed, warm, and smiling with kind, welcoming faces. So this is Lyra. His mother beamed. Such a lovely girl. No wonder you're part of our family now. She slipped off her gold bracelet and a sparkling ring and placed them directly on my hand. A small welcome gift. His father quietly handed me a card. Whatever you need, just get it. We're terrible at choosing presents. You young people have better taste. I looked at Kael unsure. He nodded. Take them, just small tokens from Mom and Dad. After lunch, his mother grabbed my hand. We're one player, short for tiles. Come, Lyra, join us. I don't know how to play. Let Kael take my spot. It's fine, she said, her eyes crinkling. Kael can teach you. If you lose, it's on him. And so I was dragged onto the battlefield. Under Kael's guidance and with his parents very obviously going easy on me, I actually kept winning. For the first time in my life, I discovered the joy of tile games. After we left, I slumped in the back seat, happily counting the stack of crisp notes in my lap. Your parents are amazing. Kael glanced at me through the rearview mirror. You like them. Then you should visit more often. Where are we going now? You'll see when we arrive. He pulled up outside a bridal boutique. Since we have time today, let's choose a few gowns. A few. My eyes went wide at the rows of beautiful white dresses. Kael gave me a sideways glance. Relax, I'm paying. I turned to him with a grateful smile. You're very generous. His expression flickered. It's not working hours. Call me by my name. Then he turned to the attendant. Bring that entire rack. Lyra, go try them on. I hugged dress after dress into the fitting room. At first, I was excited. Then I was exhausted. Kael sat on the sofa, one leg crossed over the other, evaluating each gown like a judge at a fashion show. This one is acceptable. This one reveals too much. This one is good, but one dress isn't enough. This one, no. That one, yes, but let's see more. I was so frustrated, I threw a dress at his head. What is this, some kind of live-action dress-up game? He peeled the fabric from his face. What's wrong? I'm finished. You're just playing your own personal version of a makeover simulator? He rubbed his nose, looking slightly guilty. Then, should I try something on too? You can choose for me. The attendant led us to the men's section. A slow grin spread across my face. I picked out every single outrageous, colorful, flamboyant suit I could find. Here. Wear these. Kael looked at the pile of clothes, then at me. So, this is your taste. My face flushed. No, it's not. He gave me a long, meaningful look. I see. Then he took the clothes and disappeared into the fitting room. The door opened. Kael walked out in a soft pink suit. It should have looked ridiculous. Instead, he looked elegant and strangely magnetic. Well, he asked, do you like it? I looked away. It's fine. He leaned in close. You're blushing. I think you like it very much. It's warm in here. I shoved him away, but his low laughter followed me. Don't flirt with me. You're not even undressed, and you're already being inappropriate. I can't imagine what you're like in private. A sudden snort of laughter came from beside us. The attendant was covering her mouth, her face bright red. I'm so sorry. Please continue. I didn't hear anything. She spun around. The awkwardness was suffocating. I wanted to bury myself alive. Kael, meanwhile, looked completely unfazed. Since you finished watching, I'll try the next one. Forget it, I said, deflated. You choose. I'm leaving. He caught the collar of my coat. Where are you running to? I'm taking you home. He turned to the attendant. Pack up everything she chose. Deliver them to my address. I tugged at his sleeve. You're actually buying all of them. He leaned in until his lips nearly brushed my ear. I'll take them home for you to wear. Or not wear. Whichever you prefer. My face detonated. What kind of thing is that to say? What kind of thing? He repeated, drawing out the words deliberately. I felt my entire body tense. You're going to make me think you actually care about me. But we're just in a contract marriage. He wrapped an arm around me, pulling me against his chest. Silly girl. I already brought you home. My heart stumbled in my chest. I'm not silly. He rested his chin on my shoulder. No, you're not silly. I am. The day I returned to work, I knew something was wrong. The moment I stepped through the doors, people were glancing at me, smiling, whispering. The second I sat down, my coworkers surrounded me. The boss's wife is here. Please take care of us, Mrs. Ashford. I stared at them. How do you all know? Kael posted on his social media. Anyone who follows him saw it. And the company handed out wedding suites this morning. I was stunned. When did that happen? His assistant sent a message yesterday telling everyone to pick some up at reception. Did no one tell you? Another coworker leaned in eagerly. So, Lyra, how did you land the boss? Any tips? How long have you two been together? And is he actually warm underneath all that ice? Silence fell over our little circle. I remembered the way Kael had looked stepping out of the shower the night before. Those shoulders, that expression. I couldn't form a single word. I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? The senior designer across from me looked me up and down. Weren't you two secretly living together? I remembered the faint red marks on my neck this morning. I'd assumed they were insect bites. It was a mosquito, I said quickly. A very large mosquito, someone teased. I clamped my mouth shut. There was no clearing this up now. All Kael Ashford's fault. During lunch, I stormed into his office. He looked up from the mountain of backlog work on his desk. His expression was tired. What brings you here? What do you want for lunch? I closed the door. Why did you tell everyone? He set down his pen. Tell everyone what? About the marriage. What if we divorce later? His expression went cold. You're already planning for divorce. His tone made me step back. No, I'm not. I was just asking. I'll go now. Come here. I stayed frozen. Am I that terrifying? He asked softly. I shuffled toward him. You mentioned a contract. Did I? His leg hooked around the back of my knee. I stumbled straight into his lap. You really don't trust me, he murmured. If I'm being doubted this much, shouldn't I at least prove something? One hand brushed my neck. The other held my waist. Our faces were inches apart. You liar. Let me go. Sensing my genuine distress, he released me. I was teasing. Sorry. But we're married now. You'll need to get used to some physical contact in front of others. Sooner or later. I slapped his hand away. Oh, so groping me is your way of helping me adapt. Admit it, you just want my body. He let me go and pulled something from his pocket. I didn't do anything. This is for you. He held out a lipstick. The exact shade I'd posted about wanting a few days ago. I stared at it. You remembered. Of course I remembered. I snatched it and fled. In the staff cafeteria, I found a quiet corner. Just as I started eating, my phone rang. Where are you? The far left corner by the window. Wait there. I devoured my food at record speed, hoping to vanish before he arrived. He appeared far too quickly. You're done, he said. Why didn't you wait? I averted my eyes. I thought you were already finished. I went to the bathroom. That long. His ears went slightly pink. I'm planning for both families to meet this weekend, he said, settling into the chair across from me. We need to finalize the guest list. I'll hire someone to coordinate. Any thoughts? You handle it. And the new house. We should visit together soon. Pick out what's missing. I could feel his eyes on me, steady and warm. No opinion. You decide. The family dinner happened quickly. At my firm request, everything was kept simple. From the certificate to the ceremony, barely 2 months passed. It sounded rushed, but none of the preparation fell on me. I was still living my life almost exactly as before. I had just come downstairs when a familiar figure sprinted toward me. Lyra. Mara. I lit up as the long-legged, sharp-eyed woman threw her arms around me. When did you get back? And you have the nerve to ask. She flicked my forehead. You got married and didn't tell me. It's complicated. I promised to explain everything. We found a quiet cafe, and I told her the entire story. The class reunion, the phone call, the fake relationship, the very real marriage certificate. When I finished, her expression was unreadable. So it's a contract marriage. And Kael Ashford just needed someone to manage his parents. I nodded. What else could it be? Mara stirred her coffee slowly. Do you remember the transfer student who sat behind you in high school? I blinked. The one with dyed blonde hair. Chris, I think his name was... Mara burst into laughter. Do you know what he looks like now? I shook my head. I barely looked at him back then. He seemed terrifying. Mara laughed so hard she cried. Do you know why he acted so strange around you? No idea. Come closer, she beckoned with a sly smile. I leaned in. Before she could speak, heavy footsteps sounded behind me. A strong hand closed around my arm and pulled me upright. I stumbled into a firm chest. Kael? He was glaring at Mara. What are you doing back here? She ignored his tone entirely. Lyra, why is your husband so fierce? Does he mistreat you? No, I said quickly. He's been perfectly fine. Mara gave a meaningful laugh. Some people are one way in public and completely different behind closed doors. Be careful, Lyra. Come closer. I have something to tell you. I tugged at Kael's sleeve. Can you let go? I just want to talk to my friend. You don't need to hide anything from me. We're husband and wife. What could possibly be off limits? I looked between them bewildered. Wait. How do you two know each other? Lyra, come here, Mara said, batting her lashes. I'll tell you everything. Before I could move, a palm covered my eyes. Kael's voice sounded beside my ear. Our wedding is this Saturday, Miss Mara. You're welcome to attend. But I hope you won't do anything inappropriate. Like trying to interfere in someone else's relationship. He lifted me into his arms and started walking. I patted his shoulder. Put me down. He didn't. I glanced at Mara, expecting her to protest. Instead, she handed me a disposable mask and smiled. Good luck. Kael carried me toward the company building. I scrambled to put on the mask. Instead of going upstairs, he turned into the underground parking lot and deposited me into the car. The door slammed shut. He slid into the driver's seat and turned to face me. What were you two doing? Just talking. Why were you standing so close? We're friends. We've been friends since childhood. His expression flickered. She's your friend. My best friend. She defended me from bullies. She's basically my sister. His entire demeanor shifted. Then we should invite her properly. To thank her for taking care of you. He paused. I thought she was someone else. Who? He looked away. No one important. Wait. Did you think Mara and I were? I didn't think anything. Kael Ashford. Were you jealous? He didn't answer. I started laughing. You were? You were jealous of my best friend. He turned to look at me, his expression completely vulnerable. I've loved you since high school, Lyra. You never noticed me. I transferred because I couldn't bear to watch you smile at everyone except me. I stopped laughing. What? The blonde transfer student. Mara mentioned him. That was me, he said quietly. I changed schools after she told me to stay away from you. I changed my name after my father adopted me into the family business. But I never stopped thinking about you. I stared at him. You were Chris. The scary one with the dyed hair. He winced. I was going through a phase. And you've been holding on to this for how many years? Since I was 16. I reached across the console and took his hand. You ridiculous man. His eyes met mine. Are you angry? I'm not angry. I'm embarrassed. I was terrified of you back then. I know. That's why I stayed away. I squeezed his hand. You don't have to stay away anymore. The wedding happened as scheduled. Mara caught my bouquet and waved it at me from below. I stood at the altar and watched Kael's eyes fill with light as I walked toward him. Later in our suite, I lay on the red silk bed, counting the stacks of red envelopes. Kael emerged from the bathroom, hair, damp skin still warm. He lifted me into his arms. Time to shower. I clutched a handful of cash dramatically. Not yet. I haven't finished counting. We can count in the bathroom. I'll help. No. Put me down. He didn't. Lyra. What? I love you. I've loved you for 10 years. I'll love you for the rest of my life. I pressed a kiss to the bridge of his nose. I love you too. Even if you did trap me with a marriage contract and a 7-figure bride price. He smiled against my lips. Best investment I ever made.